Let's discuss about the structure of a neuron. So what is a neuron? A neuron is otherwise called a nerve cell. That is the largest cell in our body, lengthiest cell in our body. So the function of the neuron is it helps to send and receive signals from your brain. So they look and work differently from other type of the cells, but the neurons will have a lot in common. We will see what is the specialities. So the axon is the special extension of the neuron that will be allow them to send electrical and chemical signals to the other cells. So neuron can also get these signals through the root-like extension that is called a dendrite. So the dendrite is the area in which they will receive the impulse or external stimulus. The human brain consists of 100 billion neurons at the birth, and also the neuron do not replicate or renew like other cells. So the other cells will have the capacity to grow and repair. So even if the neuron cells are dead, it cannot be replaced. That's why if we are having a brain death or something, we will not be able to replace the structure of the brain. We will see the structure of the neuron. The size, shape and the structure of the neuron will be based on their particular function. So we do have three different type of neuron. We'll see the differences. So the major part of the neuron is called a cell body. So the cell body is in charge of carrying the genetic information as well as keeping the neuron in shape. It will be seen as a circular or round shape, and it gives the energy to move. A neuron's soma, it is otherwise called cell body. It is have a nucleus and have specialized organelles like other cells. A membrane will be surrounding this cell body, and it will be protecting and also allowing it to interact with the immediate environment to receive the ions, etc. The part of the neuron is called an axon. An axon is a long tail-like structure that connects the cell body to the axon, and also they do have some specialized junctions. So myelin is a fatty material that protects the many axons. So myelin helps in the transmission of electrical signals. Next part is called a dendrite. So what is a dendrite? That is a fibrous root that arises from the cell body. That is called a dendrites. So dendrites can be otherwise, we can call it as antenna. So these are the antenna that will be receive and analyze the messages or analyze the impulses that is coming out of the environment and from the other neurons also. So there is a multiple set of dendrites are seen in the dendritic trees. So if you will see the structure, we can see the multiple dendrite. So the dendrite trees in these cells have evolved to the point that they can receive thousands of signals. So that is the reason why they are having these multiple dendrites. So they can receive thousands of impulses at the same time. Next, function and classifications. So the function of the neuron is that the action potential are used or it will be transmitted through the neuron. That is a major function. And also when the action potential occurs, when there is a ion flow, sudden ion, calcium ion, sodium ions, potassium ions, when there is a maximum ion flow that will be going into the neural membrane or the membrane that will cover the neuron. So that time what will happen? There they activate the electrical synapses or they will be activate the chemical synapses. Now we will see how these chemical synapses and the electrical synapses will be working. So the activation or the action potential, which means whenever the synapses will be occurs, it will be occur due to the ionic flow. So whenever the action potential will be arising through the other neuron, they will be passed through the spaces between two neurons. That is called a synapse. So we can see that the space between two neurons, that is presynaptic and postsynaptic. So the action potential travel up the axon to a postsynaptic end from the presynaptic neuron. That is called the synapses. That space is called the synapses, and it will be done with the help of some chemicals that is called neurotransmitters. Now we will see electrical synapses. There will be a gap junction will connect the two neurons, but the gap will be very minute, and this gap include ion channels which will facilitate the direct passage of a electrical signal. So the chemical synapse move far more slower than this. Electrical synapses, impulse will be transported very fastly, but in chemical synapses, the transmission of the impulse will be very slow.